Okay, well, hello and welcome to today's webinar with Digit Music. Just so you know, those that don't know much about TIME stands for Technology in Music Education UK, and we've been around for about 4.5 years. We concentrate on three main areas of music technology, those being education, special education needs and disabilities, and community music groups, with an umbrella of new technology covering all areas. Just so you know, there is free membership to Time that helps you keep up to date with everything that's going on within music technology in education. Please sign up for our membership, where you'll be able to access lots of free resources, including downloadable posters, videos, articles about new tech, and our regular newsletter. And I think Kate's going to put the link in the chat there. So this afternoon is all about the SEND area of music technology, and I'm delighted to introduce you to Sai Chu of Digit Music. I know Sai is one of the founders of Digit Music, and he'll be able to give us a full demo of the amazing composer, as well as telling us more about Digit Music and answering any of your questions. So with no further ado, it's over to you, Sai.
Brilliant. Thanks, Richard. Thanks, Kate. Pleasure to be here. Thanks very much for inviting us along to come and talk about all things composer and arrow notes. As Kate and Richard mentioned, some of you guys may have seen our instrument and notation and heard some bits about us before, but just going to give you a little bit of background, show you through the instrument and kind of what's capable of, but also we're completely open for questions. So if anybody wants to fire questions into the chat or stick your hand up, then you don't feel the need to wait until the end. So I'm going to just share my screen and we'll get started. All right. There we go. Zoom's always in the way. There we go. Great stuff. So as I mentioned, we're talking about composer and arrow notes. So for those of you that haven't heard of composer and arrow notes, so composer is our joystick driven instrument, which essentially does a lot of things very similar to a piano, but far easier to play. And arrow notes is our notation system, which goes alongside composer and just offers a kind of an intuitive inroad into music notation for those that should want it. So first of all, thanks for everybody for coming. And in the chat, if you want to just say hello, drop in who you are, where you're from, what level you teach at, just all say hello. We're all kind of in the same kind of space, and with today having a focus on kind of special educational needs and inclusion. I'd imagine some of you maybe even know each other, or can share practice, etc. So everybody, please feel free to introduce yourselves in there. And then what I want to do is kind of just give you a little bit of an overview, a bit of background on us, on Digit and what we do. We're then going to talk about what Composer is and how it can potentially support you guys in the work that you're doing. A bit of an overview of Arrow Notes. We've obviously got a nice special offer for you guys as well as some free bits of content as well, which you can take away with you. And then it's just open for Q&A. But as I mentioned before, if anybody's got any burning questions in the meantime, please feel free to just stick your hand up, and hopefully Kate or Richard will be able to give me a nudge and get those questions answered for you. Okay, so a little bit of background on the business. So I'm Sai, and we set up Digit Music alongside my business partner Owen. We've both known each other for a long time. You see us both looking quite long in the tooth in that photo there in our lab coats. But we've, for sort of over 30 years between us, we've been involved in community education and really supporting people with those first initial steps into music creation, music performance, music production, just getting involved in making music, alongside doing the kind of community aspects of things as well. Both of us have worked for major labels and various different music brands. I still occasionally get to write music for TV, writing for Universal, signed to various labels and things. And really from my side, it's always been very much about the live performance side of things. That's what I love. I love going out and performing live and playing music. Similarly for Owen as well, but while I was off kind of doing the performance side, he was working at Native Instruments, which is a music tech brand that I'd imagine some of you on this call will have heard from. They're kind of one of the big global players, and they specialize in making really solid instruments, software and hardware, and that kind of all interlinking. And Owen's role was is really about customer onboarding. And we saw very similar problems and very similar barriers across both sides. So in the work that I was doing with young disabled musicians, I saw that there was a kind of level of complication in technology that I didn't really feel needed to be there. You know, I thought there were routes around it. And while Owen was working at Native Instruments, again, saw very similar things. You know, people want to get their performance out to the best of their ability, but they don't want to have to jump through 3 million hoops to get there. So it was really about setting up a business and designing an instrument that really kind of slims the kind of technicalities down, to enable more and more people to be able to get involved. So this is kind of where we started. A little bit of background. You see us there in our lab coats. The instruments are actually hand built here in Derby, which is where we're based in the Midlands. So you can see it's going down and doing all the quality assurance and making sure you know, things are running as we want. But we can talk in more detail about the production process, should people wish, shortly. So what do we do at Digit Music? So we've got Digit Music, which is the kind of the main brand, if you like. But we've also got Digit Learning, which we kind of talk about all of our products being designed for musicians and tuned for educators. And Digit Learning really is that where all of the tuning is done for education, to ensure that we're, you know, we hope making tools and content that are useful for people. So talking about things overall, we've got digital musical instruments. We've got Composer here, which is our first instrument, which we will show you in more detail very shortly. And we've got some other things in the pipeline as well, which I'll talk to you about in a little bit more detail soon too. We've then got commercial music and audio, and that is, as producers, we create a lot of audio content, and that can be everything from the kind of small Lego blocks of sounds that people can stack on top of one another, which means you don't have to, you know, have played guitar for 20 years and have all of the best equipment to get a really nice sounding guitar lick into your piece of music. You know, you don't have to be a supremely studied drummer, again, with all of the kit there and running through Neve desks, etc., to get something that sounds good. You're able to access our sounds, drop them in almost kind of like Lego blocks, and then you can play over the top of them, or you can just build out pieces, just using the content there. We've then got education and skills content. So what that does, it kind of takes the commercial audio content that we've got and takes the experience that we've had of working in classrooms, but also of the teachers and various educators that we work with on a regular basis. And we kind of bake that into content that is hopefully, you know, straight out of the gate can be used in the classroom. Slightly later on in the presentation, you'll have the opportunity to download some of those pieces for free as well that you can use. And, you know, particularly with the, you know, the National Plan for Music Education and the real push towards kind of modernizing music curriculum and aligning with the music that people are listening to outside of the classroom, we felt that we feel that we're quite well positioned for supporting that. You know, we're working in the commercial audio world, but we've also got, you know, a lot of experience in education. So by gluing those two things together, hopefully we can create content that that gets people out of the gate very quickly. And then we deliver teaching and training services, and generally that is more aimed at the educators themselves as opposed to the students. We've done a lot of work in classrooms over the years, working with students. But more so now, we feel our role is in supporting and empowering educators to be able to go out and deliver the work as opposed to being the people delivering the work ourselves. So you can see at the bottom here as well, where, you know, ArtSmart partners, etc., working with various music hubs. Obviously, we're working with the guys at Time. So, you know, we've done hundreds and hundreds of hours of kind of testing this content in classrooms and working with teachers to get it to where it is. Yeah, we hope you like what you see. So we're lucky in that we've got apps and we've got various bits of software and, you know, phones in our pockets that have just got a plethora of sounds. We can almost access any sound in the world that we want. You know, from even a few years ago, people wouldn't see themselves as technologists necessarily, but everybody is now. You know, the level of kind of complexity you can get from a smartphone and the level of sound quality you can get from a smartphone is amazing, but you can't really feel it, you know. And for us, it was really about ensuring that you've got a hardware instrument that is supremely tactile, as well as being easy to use, that can take any kind of mobile device that you've got and turn it into a really powerful playable instrument. So we designed Composer specifically for people who don't play a piano or keyboard, you know, and that could be through personal circumstance. Maybe there's an upper limb difference or a reduction in mobility that means playing a traditional piano keyboard isn't for them. Or if it could be somebody that has tried to learn piano and not got to the level that they want to be at. You know, the way to get sound out of any kind of out of any device, whether that be a studio computer or the iPhone in your pocket, or, you know, your Android device, whatever it might be, is to send MIDI information in there. MIDI stands for Musical Instrument Digital Interface, and it's the language that musical tools use to speak to one another. To get MIDI into one of these devices, you need to know how to play essentially a piano keyboard, which, as I mentioned, isn't right for everybody. So we designed Composer as a shortcut through that. We've then got Arrow Notes, which is our notation system, which tracks across a number of levels, so that people can start making music really quickly. And it's that kind of fusion of gaming design and musical skills. You know, if you think it's like Guitar Hero that you could take into Abbey Road if you wanted to. You know, it's very, very quick to learn, but you're still able to access all of the complexities of sound, should you wish to. So what I'm going to do now is talk to you in a little bit more detail about Composer and give you a little bit of a demo. So what I can do, in fact, I'll stop sharing just for now and turn this camera on over here. So if I can pin this one, I'm hoping I'm doing this all right for everybody, but I've just spotlighted this one.
Yeah,
here.
that's great. We can see that side. That's
Perfect.
great.
So you've got Composer down here, and are you able to hear a piano note just there?
I personally can't.
You
No.
can't, no worries. That will be because I've stopped sharing, haven't I? There we go. Right. Great stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'll just actually share the sounds, I think, with you. Perfect. All right. How about now? Can you hear that, Richard?
No.
Really? Okay. Sorry about share computer audio and share.
No, still not hearing anything. Sorry.
Still not. That's all right. I'm just going to share the Logic screen with you guys. It's always the way, isn't it? Use
Technology is a wonderful
day
thing.
in, day out. Yeah. So I'm using Logic in this instance. Can we hear that now?
No, I'm afraid not, Si. That's strange. It was working lovely.
Yeah. Hey, it's always the way. That's all right. Let me just go here to Zoom settings. Let's just see if this works now.
Yes.
Hey, there we go. Brilliant. Just with some added latency as well. So don't expect a virtuosic performance from me today, guys. Okay, brilliant. So now we've fought through the Zoom gremlins and we've got sounds. I want to just introduce Composer, which hopefully you can see down on this screen. And essentially what we've got is a joystick, and underneath it, we've got 8 pads. The joystick is the kind of main driving force behind this, and this is where all of the musical notes come from. Essentially, what we've done is taken a traditional piano keyboard, and the person that understands how to get the most out of a piano, and we've distilled it down into a device that is just far simpler to play. If you imagine giving somebody a note on a stave and a traditional piano, a number of people will understand how to translate the note and know what to play on the piano. But if you give somebody a joystick and an arrow, the majority of people on the planet will understand how to take what that arrow is doing and play that sound on the joystick instrument. So at the minute, we've got Logic on here, but please don't be, bamboozled by that. If you're using GarageBand, that will work, or any app that you can think of on any mobile device as well. So Composer will work with a PC, it will work with a Chromebook, it will work with a Windows tablet, it will work with iOS devices, absolutely any sounds or any device that you want. And we can also access any sounds that we want as well. So I'm just going to click up here. I've got this open because I've got a number of sounds in here. So you should just be able to hear a pretty standard piano sounds in there. So the way that Composer works is it's open tuned. So we've split the joysticks into 8 directions. Again, playing into that gaming thing. So we've got up and left, up, right. So at the moment, this is open tuned to a C major scale. When we go forwards, that's always going to be the root. So if we're set into C major, the root is forwards and we're off. The way that the tuning works, it's designed for people with reduced movement. So it means if somebody prefers to move either to the left or to the right, you still get something very musical out of it, just down to the way that the intervals are kind of mapped out. But we can talk again in more detail with that shortly. So the speed that I move the joystick from the center will give me my velocity. So that is how hard or how softly the note is hit. So we've got quite a lot of dynamic play there that we're able to use. And then using the pads here, we can sort of change what is happening with the joystick. So let's go right down to the bottom first, and these are our octaves. So if I press pad number 7 there, we go down to C1. So we can play nice and deep. If I go press the other one all the way up to the top, we go up to C6. And then if I press pad number 3 here, this is sustain. And what sustain will do, it just stops the note kind of finishing, if you like, the equivalent of pressing the sustain pedal down on a piano. So by combining sustain and the octaves, we can start to build chords. So that's sustaining all of the notes. I can just turn sustain off and we're off. So that is with single notes. When it's sustained, all of the notes will pile on top of one another, and you can build some really nice shapes there. If I go over to here to pad 4, this is our chord mode. So when you've got chord mode on and nothing else, it will play the triad. So it will play 3 notes, which are relevant to each of the directions you've chosen. As I mentioned, I'm in C major. So if I move forwards, it's going to play the triad of C major. And if I just very quickly press this on here, you should be able to see some of the notes getting kind of triggered. There we go. So we play the C, E, and the G. If I then go to the G, it's going to play the G major. If I go to the A, it's playing the A minor. And then if I go to the F, that's playing the F major again. So it's diatonically mapped. So all of the mapping that you'd expect to see to work with the scale is all set up for you. So you don't need to worry about what's happening in there. And then for the pads underneath here, these change the shape of the chords that you're playing. Now, one thing that's worth mentioning is if I press pad 3 again, which is sustain, when we're in chord mode, it kind of acts as if you take your foot off the pedal in between each of the notes, in between each of the chords. It means it's perfect for accompaniment, singer-songwriters, etc. It's very quick to be able to play the chords and you're not going to get too many clusters. So I've got that set up now. I can just... so it just means it stops the previous chord before playing the next chord so that things don't pile up on top of one another. Then once we're down into here, into pads 5 and 6, this is where we kind of start to add a little bit of the layers of complexity, should you wish. So we can change the extensions.
Sorry, can I just ask a quick question? Are we meant to be seeing something on the Logic screen while you're doing that?
You should just be able to see, if you look around here, around C3.
Yep. Yeah, now we can. Yeah, that's
you can see the dots there. Yeah, I'll hold the note for a little bit longer rather than just sort of giving it a nudge as well. So here we're playing A minor. There, we've added another note on the top. Here we've folded one underneath. there's another one in there as well, just so that you can add a little bit of flavor and complexity. And then by using pad number 6, we can change the inversion that we're using. So again, where this becomes important is one, you know, composing and actually creating music. It's really good to have options to be able to play all of the shapes that you want. But actually, when you're using, you know, 3, 4, 5 composers together in an ensemble setting with a group, it means that you can ensure that each of the players has their kind of own space within the piece. You know, if they're playing a bass line, they use the octaves to set them to where they need to be, and they'll be in single notes, etc. Whereas if somebody's playing string chords, you can place them exactly where they need to be. Now, if you're working with young people with additional needs, as I'd imagine quite a number of us are, we felt it's also important to be able to lock the pads out as well. So as the teacher, you can kind of come in, get everything set up as you wish. So quite often we'll do a string ensemble, for instance. We'll have 5 units. Each of them will be set to a different octave, one playing violin, a couple playing violas, one playing cello, maybe one with a bass, etc. Once that's done, you just hold the 3 pads in a chevron shape, and that locks. And it means I can still play as I'd want to, but it doesn't matter what goes on here. So that's really useful for multiple reasons. Somebody with physical needs, it becomes a rest. Somebody with more complex autism, for instance, who may be quite excited by the lights and kind of want to play around with them, it kind of removes that for them. So with Composer, at the minute, I've got it attached to Bluetooth, which again, you know, you can use cables. We've got USB-C in the front here, so it can be plugged in where you want, or you can use it with Bluetooth, which actually is, from a producer's point of view, it's really nice not being attached to the studio computer. It means you can walk around and you can make music kind of on the go. It's also quite nice in a classroom setting as well, because we're reducing the number of cables that are around, and you can pass those around. Okay, so that is a very quick overview of Composer, and I'm just going to share my screen again. Everybody cross your fingers for the sound, please. And I will go back to... Excuse me, just put my... Oh, there we go. That stuff. So what we're going to do now, there we go. Perfect. Hopefully you can see the screen and it says Composer Live Demo on there.
Yeah.
Yes, we can. Yep.
Brilliant. And you should be able to hear a note still as well.
Yes.
Not
Yep.
that I don't trust Zoom, but I'd rather do belt and braces and make sure we've checked. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about with you guys is arrow notes. So arrow notes is our notation system. Now we're lucky in that we've designed an instrument that is open tuned, and it's circular, so it lends itself very nicely to kind of gaming lexicon and gaming design. So we've designed kind of 3 levels of arrow notes, if you like, which take you from level 1, which is very much kind of almost like a dance mat, you know, it's like, it looks like a dance mat / guitar hero, and doesn't necessarily have much relation to traditional music notation, but it enables people to play music very quickly. Then in level 2, we start to introduce some of the naming, the kind of note architecture. So we've got a central pitch stave, and we can place notes above and below. Once you get into level 3, we're actually denoting what pitch you are using by using sharps and flats and actually placing the notes on the stave, but we're still using the arrowheads. And then once we're into level 4, that's traditional notation. For us, it was really important to not create a glass ceiling. You know, it's having a notation that's easy to follow. We felt very important, but we also didn't want to stop people from progressing. You know, as with any of us who have learnt to play instruments, you play one instrument and you kind of want to start playing another one. And, you know, what we don't want to do is create a sort of false economy where somebody has to stay on arrow notes level 1. So with that, we've got we've kind of created this setup. Now, that being said, the majority of the notation that we've designed is in level 1, and we can kind of show you through some of that. So if you have a look on the device here, you can see the sort of donut that sits over the top. This can come on or off as you please. I've got another one here which doesn't have it on. This one does, so it just makes it a little bit easier to follow for people. So what I'm going to do is set composer up. Now here we've got two sharps here. I know that this is a line from a piece of music that you will all have heard. If you're a cellist, you're probably sick to the back teeth of it, but I know that it's in D. So what we're going to do is just quickly set composer to D. By pressing pad 1, it takes us into a settings page, which enables us to do all manner of things. For us, it was important to have all the MIDI coming out of this unit and not needing another app. So we've made sure that everything comes straight out of here. So now I can set it to D, and we're in major again. So I can come out of there. And that means when I push up, forwards, the red arrow, that's now playing a D because I've set this to D major. And now if I want to follow level 1, I can follow this piece of music. So hold on, I'll play it with a little bit more gusto than that. I'd imagine you've all heard that piece of music there. Yeah, I can see a few nods in the audience. And this is the exact same 2 bars of music in level 1, level 2, and level 3. You know, it's again, as I mentioned, it's important for us to, one, not set up a glass ceiling and for students, but also as well for people that are educating who have spent years learning their craft and who are talented musicians are going on to pass that knowledge on, having to learn a completely fresh system that doesn't in any way relate to the work that they've done over so many years. It just didn't feel right for us. So we felt that having this kind of this format of moving up through levels works quite nicely. Now, we've got loads of different types of music in here, and we're making more and more each day. So what we can do now here, you can see this one's Enjoy the Silence by Depeche Mode. In the left-hand side, we just need to set composer up to the key that we need it to be in, which in this case is C minor. So I'll go ahead and do that now. Hold pad 1. I'm going to take this back down to C. You can just about see the lights there. And then by pressing this one here, I change from major to minor. So now if I come back out, so you can hear that we're in a minor scale. So we should be able to now play a bit of Depeche Mode. You can see that you've got the colored arrows, which give us the directions. And then underneath, you've got the black arrows. And what those black arrows will do is tell me what I need to do for the octave. So there we go. There we go. If I actually look at what I'm supposed to be doing, apologies. So we've got 2 red arrows, up, a down, and then we need to go up an octave to play the E flat. That will be, I believe. So. So you can see there, we've got a little bit of Depeche Mode going on. We've got Star Wars here. You know, we've got Stand By Me as well. So we need to go to A major for this one. So I'll just quickly get this set up. So change that back to major and then go up to A. There we go. Oops. There we go. So I've not got a bass sound on here, but you can get the idea. We can play kind of whichever sounds that we want to play, because we're just sending MIDI into whichever app. So. So you can see that we're, you know, without having to have any kind of background theoretical knowledge, we can quite quickly go along and play a piece of music. We've got loads of different bits of music going, but if anybody's got any specifics that they'd like, please let us know, and we can get some things prepared for you. All right, so that's a quick overview there of Arrow Notes and of Composer. And I talked very quickly about the kind of audio content and things that we've got as well, because I think that's where this sort of all comes together. By having these audio construction kits that we've created, and in fact, let me just unpin this one for you so you're not just looking at there we go. Great stuff. By kind of having all of the sounds in place and having things set up in either BandLab, UStudio, Logic, Cubase, etc., whatever it is that the apps that you guys use, we use BandLab quite a lot just because it's free to use for people. It means that people can start making music really quickly. Now, you've seen with Composer, it's very easy to just tune yourself to where you need to be. So we can go in and there can be a hip hop session. We know that it's in A minor. You set Composer to A minor and you're away and you're out of the gate. So for instance, what are we like for time? Yeah, I'll just very quickly show you this one in here. So in here, we've got a session, which is from one of our sample packs, Bedroom Haze, and we should be able to, can everybody hear that all right?
Yes, that's fine. Yeah.
Perfect. I've set the wrong key, haven't I? So I was in another tune. So we're in A minor. So let's go back and actually set it to A minor. Or in fact, what I'll do, I'll just set it to C major. I'm so used to it auto-loading. There we go. So now we're set up and we're good to go, which means we can play any part of this song and just jam over the top of it if we want. You know, so by following, using the sample packs and the audio content that tells you what key you should be in and everything should be set, you can then quite easily set yourself up in Composer so that you're good to go. And you can just move around and create the blocks, etc., that you want. You'll notice each of these is all cut up into kind of one bar sections, which just means yourself and your students can go in and create your own arrangements really, really quickly and simply. All right, back into presentation mode over here. Okay, so we've created these sets of collections of kind of sounds. We call them our digital music starter packs. So with that one that you just heard there was from our pop starter pack. We've also got one which is built around trap. And we've got another one which will be coming out soon, which is built around Afrofusion in partnership with a studio called Supersonic Africa, who we worked with. Let me just, there we go. Supersonic Africa, who are based out in Nairobi, who we worked with. So these are free. There are SEND friendly versions of these available. And for those, oh, I've gone backwards there. For those of you who are interested, if you have a look on your screen now, there is a QR code. So if you go on there and get yourself set up, it will just ask for your name and email address. You'll get free access to those packs. Once you've got free access to those packs as well, it means that we'll be on comms. So you're very welcome to suggest new things that you'd like, and we will be providing ongoing free content as well. You'll also be able to sign up for an account in our back end as well, should anybody wish. I believe this presentation will get shared out as well. So for anybody that didn't get the QR code, don't worry about it. Also, for anybody that's interested in Composer, we have got a deal on at the moment. So we've got 20% off and we're going to have 10% off throughout February as well. So we also do kind of discounts for education. We've got ensemble packs, etc. So we've got sales at Digit Music, and at the end you'll have my personal email as well, which is just sidechew@digitmusic, at Digit Music. But again, feel free to reach out with any questions. But please make use of the deal and give us a shout if you've got any questions. And then there is one more thing which we've got coming up, which is an app which we have in development, which essentially takes the musical capabilities of the hardware version of Composer and builds it into a touchscreen device. And we're about to start doing some beta testing. So if you scan that QR code for anybody that's interested, you can go on and sign up to be one of our testers, and would be eternally grateful as well. The more input we get, the better. And that's kind of where we're at, really. You know, we've created instruments, we've created content. We hope that through our years of experience and expertise, we've removed a lot of the technical barriers, hopefully reduced a lot of the apprehension, but still kept a level of musicality so that yourself and your students can really perform and enjoy what's going on and be very pleased with the output. So thank you very much, everybody. That's my personal email on there, and then we've also got the support email on there as well. So if anybody has any questions, thoughts, feedback, anything at all, really, please feel free to hit us up. Thank you very much.
Gee, that's fantastic. Thanks so much for that. That's really good, and there's so much more to it than I think I was certainly aware.
Right stuff.
Fantastic, and congratulations on what you produced. So when did you start distributing, selling? How long have they been out now?
Yeah, so we actually started selling in March 2023. So cool. They're almost a year they've been on the market. Obviously, quite a bit of development, etc. before then. But yeah, that's when we actually first started selling them, was March last year.
That's fantastic. And if I purchase one, is there a warranty or a guarantee or anything like that?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I mean they've been built like tanks, driving all manner of wheelchairs over them and chucking them out of windows and things. The nature of the space that we're going into. But yes, there's a year's manufacturing warranty, 30 days money back. So even just for whatever reason you think no, it's not for me, then you get a full refund within 30 days. And you've also got access to our support team. You know, we're a new small company. We think we've designed something which is pretty special, but we need to listen to our customers. So we're here and we're on hand. So for anybody that does purchase, we're only at the end of the phone or an email.
And have you got quite a few out there? And about the music hubs, are they engaging with you?
Yes. Yeah, so it's quite a nice mixture, really. So we've got quite a number of schools. There's quite a lot of people in special educational needs space, that kind of inclusion space. Quite a number of the music hubs as well have kind of purchased a chunk, including like Drake Music and people like that as well, that are able to kind of use them across various places. But then we've got quite a number of mainstream schools that maybe have got one or two students with additional needs. They felt that this was a device that could support those students, and have now actually one school in particular has come back and purchased some more because all of the students are enjoying using it, and just because it's quite a quick route to sounding like a pro producer.
Oh, that's great. Have you been doing any work with Open Up? I saw a message there from Anna down in Southampton. So, have you been doing anything with Open Up Orchestra?
Right. Yes. Yeah. We've actually got some case studies ongoing at the moment. Yeah. So we've obviously we've got Arrow Notes. Those guys have got Clarion, and they've got a notation that goes alongside there. And we're quite a lot of settings have both Open Orchestra and Composer. So we're working with a few of those and having a look at how we kind of sort of cross-pollinate repertoire and get the units working together, which early days, but it's going very nicely so far. Thank you.
And we talk about gear. So how quick and easy is it to set up, and what sort of gear do you really need to set up?
Yeah, great. I mean, we sort of easy as 1, 2, 3 is the way that we talk about it. You know, I think creating an instrument was one thing, but actually keeping the tech barrier so low, you know, if my mum can use it, we're good. That was kind of my barrier. And we had, I had my mum playing Dr. Dre a few weeks ago, so she's quite comfortable on it. So there's no sounds on Composer. It sends MIDI out, but it does all of the intelligences on the actual unit itself. So all you need is any kind of digital device, whether that is a mobile phone, a tablet, a laptop, a kind of old tower PC, you know, whatever it is. And whether you either use cable plugged into the front and straight into the unit that you're using, or you attach over Bluetooth, so long as that device has something that makes music on it, whether that's GarageBand or one of the innumerable free apps out there, yeah, that's all you need, and you're out of the gate within
Great.
moments.
I mean, that's like a deal breaker, isn't it? How easy it is to get up and running. So that's great. Really good to
Yeah.
hear. So what actually inspired you to make those and spend all? I mean, you must be spending years on this. So,
yeah, quite a few grey hairs, as you can see. Yeah, so I mean, the reason we've ended up here, I suppose. Excuse me. Done a lot of work over the years with disabled young musicians. I kind of with Inspire Youth Arts set of projects going called the Able Orchestra, which Chris Halpin, Dyskinetic, is now working very closely with. And it just my background is in live performance, and being the weird electronics guy that's in with the orchestra or is in with the drum band or whatever it might be, and kind of trying to make sure that whatever we're doing from an electronics background is got the an organic feel and a real kind of connection, and I'm not just people aren't having to kind of glue directly to what I'm doing. So working with the young disabled musicians and recognizing that we're asking them to use technology that was kind of forcing them down a route, and we were kind of missing out on all of the muscle memory that those guys have got from, a lot of the people I was working with were wheelchair users. And you may recognize that design is relatively similar in shape to an electric wheelchair joystick. So we kind of took that ergonomic and then filled it full of music so that the young people using it could use their muscle memory and the familiarity they've built up and kind of input that into music. Where we ended up actually is a user experience that just simplifies the music making experience for anybody, whether that's a young beat maker, disabled or non-disabled, or an experienced producer who wants a new tool for their arsenal. That's where we've ended up really, which is quite exciting.
I guess it's not with all this sort of stuff. It's not one size fits all, is it? It's just combinations of things, and it's great that you had the opportunity to work with disabled people on making sure that it is the right thing going forward. And the sort of challenges that the composer's overcoming. And you got clamps as well, so you can actually put it anywhere on the where you want to have it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so you see the bottom here, it's got like a diamond base. We actually ship with a Perform pack. We've actually got one here. This wasn't prepared. Here's one I made earlier. But it comes in kind of a hard case, and then it's got here we go, a RAM mount attached to the bottom of it. So this can attach to a table, it can attach to a wheelchair, it can attach to whatever you want. And importantly, one of the reasons that we chose RAM mounts was because you're into an ecosystem there of clamps and adapters that you can literally attach it to anything you can imagine in the world once you're in there.
No, that's really good. And when we're talking about education and multiple purchase, do you do sort of bulk discounts, that type of thing?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. So for anybody purchasing in education, there's 10% off the RRP just off the bat for a single unit. But then we've also got we've got a multi-pack, which is 5 units. We've also then got an ensemble pack, which has been really popular, which is 5 units with the RAM mounts in a kind of a Pelly-ish case, in a wheeled hard case. Which just means you've got everything you need. It's also got a charger socket in there as well, and that's quite heavily discounted because you've got 5 units in there and everything else that you need to go. So yeah, there's definitely discounts there available for those who would like them. Plus we've got the kind of offer that we're running at the moment as well on top of that.
So we just come straight to you to get those prices.
Yeah, come straight to us. Yeah, you've got my email address, or if you want to hit up sales@Digit Music or support@Digit Music, anything to do with sales, it all comes through to the same place. As I said, we're a very small team, and we're always open to conversations with new potential customers.
And excitement with the new developments you've got in the pipeline. The touch screen you were mentioning.
Yes, yeah. It's really exciting. It's Composer does a lot for a lot of people, but still the fact that you need a physical hold on a device means that it's not going to be suitable for absolutely everybody. Also, access and inclusion comes in a number of forms, and one of those is cost. And I think for some people, a 250 plus piece of hardware can be difficult for people. So with the app, we've kind of got two ends of the spectrum. We've got one, you'll be able to control it without using any kind of touch whatsoever. You can then use the exact same user experience by flicking with finger gestures, but also it's much more cost effective. So there will actually be a version of it that's completely free to use.
Wow.
You know, which will kind of feed into our mission really, which is just getting more people making music and more people kind of engaging with creativity.
That's really interesting, and that comes into things like the Trinity music exams that use the Sounds of Intent framework.
Yes.
Their new certificates, and the fact you can show progression through using it. I think it's not just here we go, make some music and then that's it. That it can go on, and you get more complex as you go through that, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I know obviously, you know, I personally invented it and our team's developed it, so I'm biased, right? But I use it all the time. You know, in our studio over there, I've got one plugged in permanently, and I go on holiday. I've just recently been away on holiday, and it's the perfect thing for sitting on the balcony. You don't need a studio with you, but you feel supremely tactile and you can really write. You know, so I think that development's there, and it's like we kind of describe it as we've just added a couple of rungs onto the bottom of that ladder of starting to play an instrument. You can still climb all the way to the top and be a virtuoso and main stage at Glastonbury, etc. We've just added a couple of rungs to invite more people to the party.
And it's an exciting time for the hubs with the 25 million that's meant to be available in September.
Yes.
Will people be able to purchase the Composer as part of that 25 million capital spend?
Very, very much so. Yes, it ticks off so many of the things kind of attached with the MPME, and with what that money is kind of is allocated for across two levels as well. It's an instrument, but it's also inclusively designed as well. So it kind of it hits on a number of levels. It's also possible as well for students and for I think it's anybody under the age of 25 to purchase Composer on 0% finance through Take It Away scheme as well, which again is funded by Arts Council England, and again all feeds into this kind of more inclusive musical landscape that we're all vying for and fighting for.
Great, no, that's absolutely fantastic. Kate, are there any other questions there that have come, or have you got any other questions, or has anyone got any questions? Open the floor.
I have asked everybody if and everybody's welcome to pop their mic and camera on if they prefer to do that, or pop a question in the chat. I think there'll be a few follow-up questions after the meeting that we can get to Si and discuss then, but no, at the moment that's it. And just
I can see. Oh, sorry, I've had a direct message. Oh, Kate, this is from you. Sorry, somebody's asked if there's potential for a loan. I'm going public here. I don't know if I was supposed to, but somebody said if there was a potential for a loan. Yeah, that is certainly something that we can sort out. We've got a few devices that we've been working with people to kind of loan in for a couple of weeks so they can test them out with their students and kind of get hands on. So that's definitely something we can arrange if people would like to get in contact.
Oh, there you go. That's that sorted. Brilliant.
There we go.
Of course, we can come and see you live at the expo in the 22nd
yes, of course.
of February.
Yeah, definitely. We'll be there, and we'll be you'll be able to come and have a go with Composer and come and have a chat. And there are also obviously Expo's the first thing on there, but Drake Music do also have a couple of composers which are going into their accessible instrument collection as well. So once that's live, there'll be another place for people to go and test units as well.
Yeah, that's great. I'm just going to put the expo details into the chat there. So if anyone's interested in coming along, it is free. And it's a really good couple of days. It's about 2,500 teachers, lots of exhibitors, lots of really good CPD workshops and talks going on. So the expo is a really good thing. Fantastic. Well, if there's no one else, and last chance for saying anyone wants to take their put their microphone off mute, say anything or anything like that, or anything else in the chats. It's we're going to be gone in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So
thanks very much for having us, everyone.
Yeah,
nice
absolutely fantastic site.
I was just gonna chip in. Hello.
Hey.
Hi. Firstly, thank you so much. It's such a great thing. I was actually working with a girl this afternoon who was she's just so passionate about writing her own stuff.
Okay,
and
great.
It just seems to marry up, like, because she's a wheelchair user, like kind of real physical disabilities there. I guess my question is, do you offer training like to supplement alongside if like the hub were gonna like purchase and things like that? Because I've started using Clarion, but it's like I haven't really had any training on it, so I'm like exploring it and finding new things as I go.
Okay, great stuff. Yeah, so we can yes, we can offer some training for sure. Either something online for your team, or there's potential we can even come down and deliver something for you guys as well.
Amazing.
We've also got something which we call Backstage, which is our kind of back end area, which is full of onboarding content and opened up for support, etc. So we've been working hard on the support and onboarding, but we haven't got it exactly right yet. So we're very open to working with customers to make sure that it's right. So we'll certainly offer support.
Perfect. Brilliant. Thank you.
No problem. No problem at all.
Could you just repeat your email address, Simon?
Yes, yeah, I can. Sorry, did I take it off the screen a little bit quick for everybody? Let me in fact, here we go. That's the quickest way to do it. I'll just put it back up there. There we go. So it's sideshoe@digitmusic.co.uk.
I'll put it in the chat as well if that
Brilliant.
If that helps at all.
Great. And then if Kate and Richard, if it's all right, what I'll do is I'll bounce out a copy of this presentation as well and send to you guys, which we can share around with people so that you've got access to all of the links and everything and got our contact details.
Yeah, brilliant.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again. So really good, really great session. Thank you very much, and thank you everyone for coming.
Yeah, thank you everyone.
And hopefully we'll see everyone at the expo.
See you all for a jam in a few weeks. Sounds great.
Cheers, all the best. Thanks very much. Good evening.
Thanks all. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.